I blame Chinese literature for this. So Chinese culture is more traditional than American culture, and in Chinese love stories, at least the ones I watched growing up, there is supposed to be only one love. Like you're supposed to love only one person for your entire life. It's called 一生一世,一双人. There is no love stories before that, and there will be no love stories after that. Once you fall in love and establish the relationship, the story ends, and you live happily ever after. Or if it's a sad story, the male character will get into sort of an accident and lose his memory and get sent to whoever knows where, and the female will start to wait for his return. Even though there is a whole crew lining up chasing after her, and everyone is just telling her, oh, he's never coming back. He's probably dead. He probably had a new life and forget about you already. And she wouldn't believe it. And she kept waiting. And after 5, 10, 20 years, they finally met. And then she dies. Depending on how many knives the author wants to be delivered to his doorstep. So I grew up reading, watching, and experiencing that kind of love ideology, and nobody told me it's unrealistic. I didn't have the chance to experience love in real life to realize that that's not the case. Because in China, you are not supposed to be in love until after you graduate college. And right after you graduate college, you have to get married immediately and have kids. So after I got into US and experienced the American love story, the American love ideology, I had a really hard time justifying it. You know, like in American love stories, you can have sex with some random girl, but still be madly in love with someone else. Okay, so like in China, right, we don't talk about sex. We don't like just talk about anything related to, you know, the activity at all. I mean, at least when I was growing up, again, like older times. I don't know about now, but like at least when I was growing up, you wouldn't see sex in any movies, TVs, or even like in ratings. So in those love stories, it's more like, okay, they went to bed together, and then immediately the next morning. So basically they can only hint they had sex, and even like that, even if they're just slightly hinting, they had like sort of intercourse. They are locked. Like they are like locked. They will have to be together forever. Like even the slightest thought of them breaking up or like liking someone else is evil. It's filthy. It's like unfaithful. I mean, like depending on what kind of story you're reading, there may be some like wiggle rooms, but that's kind of like the gist of it, right? So when I started reading like the American love stories and found out that the guy sleeps with a random stranger and then immediately the next day fall in love with someone he saw with the first sight and thinks, oh my god, he found the true soulmate. Or like on the girl's side, like the girl fall in love with one guy and they have sex and that don't work out. And then she fall in love with another guy and they have sex and that don't work out. And she fall in love with the first guy again, they have sex, that don't work out again. And she fall in love with this random dude that just came out of nowhere and they have sex and that don't work out again. And she's like, I think the first guy is my soulmate, is my true love. I'm going to go back to the first guy and we're going to get married and we're going to live happily ever after. And reading those, I was just like, huh? It's not until later that I realized that that's probably how real love works in real world. The kind of love I refuse to believe in. The Chinese version of love ideology is very unrealistic and glorified. It very rarely happens in real life. But I want that. At that time, that's the only kind of love I want. 一生一世一双人 One person, one love. Forever. I feel like that is the only type of love that can sort of save me from my shitty life. Anything less than that, my life is just not worth living. So in my teenage years, I was like, okay, I'm not going to look for a girlfriend. I'm going to wait for the sign, the snap, the sensation that tells me, all right, she's the one. She's my world. She is the meaning of my life. And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and nothing happened. So I approached 20. She is still nowhere to be found. And I started losing faith. I started to think, this is probably never going to happen. I didn't give up fully at that time, just yet. So I actually set the deadline at 25. I always like to set those deadlines on the 5-year interval for some reason, even though like none of them ever happened at all. But so basically I just told myself, I'm going to wait until 25. 25 is the year I'm going to give up. If it didn't happen at 25, that means it's bullshit. True love doesn't exist. At least for me. But at the same time, while I was waiting, I start to think alternatives. And that's where you come in. So I start to think, okay, if I cannot find true love from some random stranger in this world, what if I just have a kid? I'm going to have a daughter, and she will be like this little sister where I can take care of, I can play with, I can grow up together. And this time, I will have full right of you, so that I don't have to worry about another shitty parent making you terrible and hate me. And I will love you. You're my kid. I'm supposed to love you forever. I don't have to wait for the sign, the snap, the God tells me some stranger is going to be like my true love. And maybe 10, 20, 30 years later, realize that I was wrong and getting a divorce. And then she will take custody of you and tell you that I'm a terrible father and make you just like disown me. So I feel like having a kid is just much more tangible. I just need to save up enough money to have surrogacy. And this is something I can actually work on. I can actually strive for, instead of waiting for some random stranger hidden in whoever knows where to somehow randomly show up and save me. I feel like I will have a much better participation and feel less like a loser that way. And that somehow makes me more entitled to be loved by you. Because otherwise, I don't know what I'm supposed to return for someone give me that kind of love that I desire. I really think the blood tied love is like the only kind of love that's kind of realistic for me. Because I can guarantee that I will love my kids forever. I cannot guarantee that for some random strangers. I just cannot imagine loving someone forever. Like that's just really, really, really impossible at this stage right now. I feel like I will never be able to do that to some random strangers. I don't have that kind of hope anymore. And I think like the kids will love their parents by default, right? As long as the parent do not fuck up. And I know everything a parent can do to fuck up. So I just need to avoid them. Easy peasy, right? So yeah, while I was waiting and losing faith day by day, I gradually rolled over my desire to love and be loved by someone into you. I started to save money for the surrogacy. Literally every penny I started earning, minus all the necessary expenses, I either saved or invested for the surrogacy. I mean, not trying to brag or anything, but literally, every time I spend money, I'm thinking, okay, should I spend it or should I save it for you? Okay, just put it out there. I feel like that is really like my whole life is being like just going through that one goal now. Not trying to like gaslighting or anything. Just saying like I really put a lot of effort into you. So please love me. Okay, so We get to 25, and still nothing. And after that, I just completely gave up finding true love from a stranger and invest all of my emotions and hope into you. Actually, not quite. So I didn't completely give up. Like there is like probably like one more part before I fully like give up, like 100%.